Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. We are here in my living room with my best bro since 8th grade, A-Fish. What's up, man?
A-Fish, huh?
I don't know.
That's a new one.
Andrew Fisher,
I get it. So, yeah, not doing a lot. We are breaking the 6-foot rule.
Uh-oh.
But
well, we have Lysol wipes somewhere.
That's okay.
I'm supposed to follow you around this house and wipe everything you touch, so don't touch anything.
Oh, I've touched everything. So, yeah, we're still in the apocalypse right now. We're not pre-apocalypse or post-apocalypse yet. So,
how's life been for you, realtor?
Well, it finally slowed down. This weekend was my first weekend I did not see anybody.
So officially, Tulsa has been on
shelter in place,
a shelter-in-place suggestion. But they came out with like an essential workers list.
Yes.
Which is basically everybody.
Almost.
It's everybody except for like hair places, like a job that you have to physically touch somebody. They've taken those out. But everything else is essential.
Well, your job's not essential.
On that list, there's different ways that we could justify going into the office. But we were able to work from home, so like we do that all the time.
If you have to figure a way to justify it, you're not essential.
No, like some of it was like servers and stuff like that, and we manage websites and web properties, and so like you can't. There was just a bunch of different things on that list that we fall in those categories. So it was whatever.
But yeah, life hasn't really changed other than my wife spending $1 million at the store to feed us during the apocalypse.
Did you buy enough toilet paper?
So we bought enough toilet paper like a year ago. We always buy a lot of toilet paper. And so, yes, we have plenty of toilet paper.
We always get toilet paper from Sam's. And so we had just bought it.
So do we.
We didn't hoard it or anything, but we had just bought our normal amount, and then all this crap happened. So,
yeah, that's it. We buy ours at Sam's as well, and now it's just you and Shay, and then so us it's 3 people, but still it's plenty to last us a long time.
You don't know how much toilet paper I use? I gotta like wrap it.
Okay,
before
you could
I wipe one tiny.
Whereas I use like two sheets.
We also have a bidet just in case.
There you go.
So
I have a shower just in case. That's better than your bidet.
But the bidet, like, it warms the seat up, so it like warms your booty, and then it like has air that air dries your booty for you. That should be a podcast episode.
I got hot water and a towel.
Well, for me, it's not been that. I was telling you earlier, Andrew, like I just feel like kind of God's been part of my life and my wife's life in the last year. Both of the jobs that we had a year ago are currently in layoff times or kind of cutting hours drastically times, because like when I was doing T-shirts, one of the biggest clients of doing T-shirts and then running a T-shirt shop is the schools.
Right.
So no school and no clubs means no T-shirts. And so being out of that was like, wow,
well, that in sports.
Yeah, that in sports. So all of that, for T-shirt and that kind of stuff is basically any big gathering is going to have that. So if you take out big gatherings, like it's going to be like, well, who wants one T-shirt?
You're right.
So, and I never liked making just one T-shirt. So it takes the same amount of work to make one as it made to make 50. And that's the stupid part about T-shirt business. Anyway, and so I just was realizing, talking to my wife, just how blessed we were. And she just recently switched out of the oil and gas industry and into banking. And so...
What timing?
What timing? Like it literally was a month ago?
Yeah.
A month and a half maybe now? And so as soon as she left, with an upcoming election, it was already slowing down. Like that's just how oil and gas is. They're waiting to see.
Not only that, but with China and Saudi Arabia feuding and driving gas prices down.
Yeah.
it was really hurting our gas industry.
And so they had already had like their slowest month so far until this happened. And so they just had a major, cutback layoff kind of period today. And so just realizing that, wow, like Shay and I are both the type of people that just sit in bad situations and just hope that they get better. And the fact that we both made big steps of faith in knowing that we needed to be somewhere different, it was just nice to be able to look back. Those are always the times where you can look back and see, oh, that's what God was doing in this moment. And so now, Andrew, since I am in a good spot, I have to use that as an opportunity for ministry.
Very nice.
So I've actually been helping a few different churches out, or churches and / ministries, with their online setup, online streaming. Our church, we had a Fortnite with the pastor for youth, and
yeah, that was different.
He was terrible at the video. We streamed on Twitch. Something I've been screaming for a while was like, come on.
Right. I believe we even talked about it last podcast.
We did, and shout out to Trina who listens to remind me, like, hey, we stepped out in faith. I wanted to respond to Trina, and I will respond to you now because Rusty doesn't listen to the podcast. Rusty, our pastor, has a way of tricking us into ministry.
How so?
So I've been screaming that,
right?
Not expecting to do it, and then all of a sudden, hey, do you want to help me with this?
But see, when he called you out on that, I turned around and called him back out immediately.
Because
I said we don't all have time or finances to do it.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess who did it last week?
That's because.
But I wasn't talking about. I was talking about doing it after schools, not just nighttime.
Right. Right.
So my goal though is to kind of keep something going, and hopefully you'll join in with me, and we'll be able to keep something going.
Yeah, when we switch nights, I will definitely join back in with you.
Maybe switch to Thursday night and have it for more than just our church.
Right. Yeah.
But it was cool. We played Protect the Pastor because Rusty was terrible at Fortnite.
Oh, neat.
And so we were like, hey, like, whatever squad he was in, Protect the Pastor, and like literally they were boxing him in, so he would.
That's awesome.
So he would stop dying.
I like that game mode. Protect the Pastor.
And so we're gonna play a little bit more of that this week, as we'll have week 2 of.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
And clearly, guys, Dusty and I talk to each other outside of this, so sometimes, yes, we know what somebody's gonna say, but then other times stuff just comes up. But when you change your ministry nights, maybe if this happens,
mm-hmm.
and you turn this into more of a citywide evangelism, or even
worldwide,
right? Get pastors from each different church,
mm-hmm.
And if your pastor dies, your team is out.
Oh snap! Yeah, have like a church on church.
Yes,
church on church crime night.
Yes,
and
let's go kill the other pastors.
Pastor, you get a squad together, and we'll all get squads together. Yeah.
You get your 3 best. I'll get my 3 best.
I like that.
Yes.
Bring back the Crusades. No,
all of it, you're going down.
No, we used to do that. Remember in high school, we used to have like flag football, and it was church. Each church had a team, and we do flag football. Maybe yours before your
that was before me.
Before your save days. We used to do a lot of that. I mean, you knew like church league softball, like that was a big thing. That was a big thing.
Yeah, because Catholics would drink it on the field.
Well, and the Catholics would always bring in like heavy hitters that didn't go to church.
Right.
Like,
well, yeah, but they were Catholic. Sorry, you guys didn't see my air quotes.
Air quote Catholic. That means they drink a lot. So we should bring something like that, like a church game.
Yeah,
gaming ministry.
Or like hide and go seek, or capture the pastor.
Capture the pastor. There we go.
So your pastor hides in a building, and if another team finds you, the pastor has to follow them.
Yeah, we used to play that too, like hide and seek and stuff. I can't remember what they call it. Sardines.
We could do sardines.
Oh, sardines,
dude! So many ideas just popping up on the podcast.
I want to play hide and go seek right now.
All right, I'll be back.
Oh, no. Come back here. We're too big to hide in places, and
it's true.
We need a church with plenty of.
We need a big church.
Wide open space.
We're both big boys.
big pews and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so it's just been interesting, for me,
Right.
like our pastor preached a sermon, and I was like, son of a gun, I have to do something with this. And so I've been able to help Austin and Lev with their ministry because they're now multi-state now.
Distance, yeah.
And so helping them get set up with their new Facebook Live format and programs and such. Helping Celebrate Recovery at a church in Tulsa. They're doing a live stream that I helped them get set up. And now this Tuesday I'm launching. It's a pre-recorded live stream that ends after the stream's over. Then there's Zoom breakout groups that'll be live.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I'm just using my talents, I guess, and my knowledge of being in the area, in the kind of ministry area for that. That's what I've been doing. And it's really been exciting, I guess, is the word.
Awesome.
Awesome is maybe another way to say it. It's just been really fulfilling. That's the word. Fulfilling to kind of do something with some of that knowledge.
Heck yeah.
So if you need help with your live stream, call Andrew.
And I will call Dusty.
And he will call me, and we'll get on a Zoom, if you know what that is. That's the one funny thing is people finding out. There's just so many people finding out about Zoom, like Jimmy Fallon, for instance. He started doing this thing, and they're like, they had never heard of any kind of video conferencing software ever. It's like so new to some people, and it's just funny. I'm like, that's been around forever.
For a long time, yeah.
Like I used that 2 years ago when I worked at Inkwell, like to help design T-shirts, and they can watch me design it instead of critiquing it later. They can just critique it right then, and I don't have to do all this extra work with the font to make it look right when they don't even like the font. So, yeah, so it's just funny to me, like people figuring it out, and also just like how crappy equipment that some of these people, like YouTubers that don't normally do like a low budget anymore, like they haven't figured out how to do that in-home studio stuff because they're now used to the big cameras,
right,
and such. Now they're like, we're trying to figure out how to Zoom two people. Like I just watched a Good Mythical Morning, and they were talking about that. Like they just thought, oh yeah, we'll just get on a video chat and we'll do it. That'll be easy. And they're like, how much of a struggle it was to get it to work right. It's been funny.
That's crazy. Especially, I mean, there's so many platforms that are very user friendly.
But when you're used to recording in studio,
right,
that's where the difference is like, oh yeah, I thought this would be super easy, and now it's the hardest thing ever.
But see, I'm coming from the streamer side, so not really a big camera side.
Well, yeah. Well, the streamer side, and that's the thing I got to figure out with doing a youth streaming ministry is normally streaming, they're watching you and you're responding to a chat.
Right.
When you're trying to get to play together and be able to hear them also in voice, that's where it really gets difficult. And so there's not really an easy way to do it for people who don't know how to already do it.
Yeah, if they don't know how to do it, it's not easy.
Like streamers know how to do it, so I can go message a couple of my streamers that I'm friendly with, and we could do it real fast. It's easy.
Right.
But unless it's that initial setup.
But trying to teach somebody to do it.
And trying to teach kids, like I had to try to have them add me as a Fortnite friend just to join my party, and they kept giving me their Xbox names, not their Fortnite names. And it's like, that's not...
Yeah.
Do you not...
like, no, I need the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So cross-platforming, all that stuff, man, it just gets so...
aggravating.
Much of a headache, and oh my God. But anyways, this week's sermon was what we were going to talk about, because our pastor, for once, had one we agreed with.
He had a good one.
He had a good one. He had a Bible Belt Bros approved.
Yes, we gave it our stamp of approval.
Our BBB stamp.
It's about time, Pastor.
So why don't you break it down with us, house church leader?
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to like put in a clip of Rusty or something there, and as he just breaks it down
He'd probably like, give us copyright strikes or something if we...
Probably. So this was our last week on a series called Nothing Really Matters. And this week, he's really preaching the Church of Acts, which is kind of what Bible Belt Bros has been striving for or talking about since we started, and the whole reason we started our podcast.
Not really acting out the book of Acts on our own, but just complaining that nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did just do a lot of complaining.
A lot of complaining, no solutions. Welcome to the Bible Belt Bros. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, and he was using the story in Luke about Jesus getting on the boat and preaching to the multitudes on the shore, and throwing or casting nets off the boat, not on the shallow end but on the deep end. And he just kind of broke into the details on that, how you don't throw your nets into the deep end because there's not as many fish there. And that's kind of where we're at right now with this whole Corona thing, this COVID thing, is we're having to cast our nets
on the other side
of the boat into unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
And it's just very different, very strange, and we're not used to it, but it's amazing.
Well, he told a story about himself when he was fishing as a kid, where when you catch fish, a lot of times you can. I mean, I'm not a great fisherman, so don't.
Me neither.
Don't judge me. That can be a Dusty Does Manly Things episode on YouTube.
That's going to need to be a we do manly things.
Have Jim Field take us fishing.
There we go.
The first time. Not first time. My dad used to do whatever. Yeah. I don't like to touch fish.
I've been fishing a lot, but I suck at fishing.
And so when you catch a fish, you can put them on a line where you can keep them in the water. A stringer in the shallow end. And so he told a story about how he kept trying to catch this fish and then somebody realized that he's trying to catch one that's already been caught. And so as a church, as we're continuing to throw our nets in the shallow end, a lot of times we're catching fish who have already been caught.
Right.
And we're counting that as a win when there's a whole other deep end on the other side of the boat that we've never tapped into. And I think this is, people pray for revival and things like that. This is an opportunity that
Absolutely.
that we are reaching outside of what we normally do. People are joining into our personal church's live stream. I've seen names pop up that don't go to our church that are friends with me on Facebook because I shared something.
Right.
And so just having your nets casted out on the other side is just giving such a broader range of people you're able to connect with that the church would have not connected or hasn't been connecting with.
Right. I mean, I had one of my Canadian friends join at one of my watch parties. I was like, what? So, yeah, I mean...
That's surprising on two factors. One, you have a Canadian friend, and two, that they joined in on.
And three, that they claim me as a friend as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess that's a difference to say I have a friend and whether or not they say the same thing when they talk about you behind your back.
See, it's only a friend if they call you a friend as well.
Otherwise, it's an acquaintance. And me. Mm-mm.
Otherwise, it's an acquaintance.
Yeah. Sorry, cut you off again.
You're good.
I'm a good friend.
So, yeah, we actually, this week, the pastor was like, he said the magical words that everybody loves to hear, let's wrap this up.
Oh, yeah. That's when you know, okay, I can sit up.
Yeah.
Focus one last second.
Yeah, that's when everybody wakes up, and that's where the pastor's supposed to drive home the point. And this week, I was like, no, let's not wrap this up. Let's keep going, keep talking. It was a great sermon, and he wasn't even going to preach this sermon either.
Right.
He had, last week, he said, this is going to be our last week. And then, while he was on the toilet, God spoke to him.
He had a thought on a pot, and Lord just provided a sermon.
That's right. And he went ahead and preached it, and it turned out to be the best one of the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was just really timely, really good, and just really thought-provoking. Not as much as thought-provoking as this podcast is. I'm joking. Okay. But just, was just right up our alley when it comes to doing things outside the box. And for me, like, hey, it's now a sermon that, hey, I have been helping. So I felt really good about it. Like, oh, hey, I helped 3 people this week, get stuff set up, and tell them all that stuff. And so, like, I was just really, for me, felt good because I was like, hey, he's not even preaching to me right now.
Right.
I got to keep doing it, and I got to keep being available, and I got to keep being open.
Maybe that's why I liked it, because for once he wasn't stepping on my toes. I don't know, but that is a good theory. That usually
makes for a good sermon when you can point fingers.
That's right.
Afterwards.
Especially at your wife.
He's talking about Cheryl again. So it's just keep pointing fingers afterwards. That's a callback to a YouTube joke if you want to catch us on YouTube.
Sorry, but we got to change it to Carol.
Carol. Oh, yeah. By the way, let's just throw this out there, people. I know you've probably watched The Tiger King by now.
Yes, I wasted 7 hours of my life.
It was like the most...
It was a train wreck.
Every time you watch it, you're like, how could this get any weirder? And then the next episode would happen, and it would get weirder.
The whole time I'm like, this is so stupid. Why am I watching this? But I couldn't turn it off.
I was the same way. We binged it in 2 days.
I did too.
And oh my gosh.
It was so stupid.
It was just so dumb. But then,
I'm like, Free Joe.
I have a guy, which I'm going to say is a friend, and I don't know if he'll say that, but we're friendly.
Oh, as acquaintance?
We used to work together, and he was like, you know what? When this coronavirus stuff hit in, he just like, I'm just going to vacation by myself to Honduras. And he's been on Instagramming on the beach, no cases of COVID there.
Nice.
And so he's just been chilling, and he's just now he had to fly back yesterday, and was talking about how he's like, people now know Oklahoma. The people now know where he's flying back to because of stupid Tiger King. And I just want to point out that that is an exception for most of Oklahoma.
That is southern Oklahoma.
That's southern Oklahoma. That's closer to those Texas people. No.
Yes, that is. I mean, if you watch the end of Tiger King, they moved that zoo closer to Texas.
That's where most people were coming from anyway.
That's right. And so, I mean, that is them northern Texaners.
Yeah, but those people were from California and still moved up. Anyway,
right.
It's just, it's just kind of was a train wreck. But I just want people to know that that's not what we look like, act like, talk like, whatever.
We don't have tigers as pets, unfortunately.
Now, that would be cool, but not cool.
All I know, everybody's getting this stimulus check, right? I wonder how many people are going to try and buy tigers now.
I saw a meme like it was a guy running from a tiger saying, that running from the tiger bought with my stimulus check.
See?
Yeah, but it's just what a crazy story. But please just don't throw me into that category.
You can,
and I can't even say that I'm from Iowa. Because he had an Iowa Hawkeyes coffee cup.
He did.
And I was like, what the heck is going on? No.
It double whammied you.
It double whammied me. I can't even get out of it. So, just, if you haven't watched it.
Don't waste your life.
Don't waste your life unless you have some life to waste. Then you're just going to be like.
You will be dumber.
You will be. That's 100% dumber. You will be dumber. And just. Please don't wrap us into that. Oh, my gosh. Insane.
Man, we could turn that into a sermon.
We could. But
anyways, let's not. Let's talk about Easter.
Oh, we're still talking.
Because that is this COVID is destroying every church in the world's Easter plans.
Oh, yes. It's destroying everything that the church has been wanting and trying to do. The same thing every year. No.
Right. And our church especially, because we go way outside the norm.
We have helicopter egg dropping stuff.
Well, we used to.
I don't know.
Last year we had a big block party.
With the DJs.
This year we were supposed to make Easter great again.
That's right.
It was mega Easter.
But maybe we are. That's the whole thing. Maybe we are making Easter great again.
Yes.
And it's the problem is we thought Easter was great this way. And God said, but you're entertaining people. Stop entertaining people and start reaching people for once. For the love of God.
Which, I mean...
For the love of me, reach people is what God is saying.
Which, I mean, we were, and that Easter is the church's biggest membership boost.
Yes.
And so, I mean, some churches may not honestly come out of this without new members. Because even churches who only have like 10, 20 people get an influx of people on Easter. And maybe one or two of them will stay, but that may be enough to get them through the next year until Easter again.
Right.
A lot of churches may depend on that Easter money. And unfortunately, I hate to make it about the finances, but, it's kind of what it is. Yeah,
so it's very interesting what's going to do this year. There's a couple options that our community's doing. Some people are renting out drive-in movie theaters, and everybody tune their radio to this thing and They have the praise and worship and stuff through there. There's a lot of different creative where you can still be in a big gathering in some areas, not all areas, but
Right.
Tulsa's one that you can still, as long as you're 6 feet away from each other, they're okaying it. And so being in separate cars, things like that has been one way.
Well, I think actually churches have been made an exception. You still have to be, you don't have to be 6 feet, but the state has made an exception for churches. I think even the country has made an exception for churches, but still urging churches to do, quote unquote, the right thing.
But there's no like, you're not parking 6 feet away from people when you're going to Walmart or to the
Right.
That's what's weird to me, and it's not weird because I understand it, but that they say only go out if you need food and shelter or food and resources, but then you can't hoard those resources, which forces you to have to go back out sooner than later. So wait a minute, what if you allowed us to buy that much toilet paper? Then we wouldn't. Not that people were buying the right amount of toilet paper, but then people wouldn't have to go back out for toilet paper later. Same thing with food.
Which my whole thing with this is 6 feet is, since this isn't can stay in the air for hours.
Yeah.
6 feet doesn't do anything because I may accidentally spew out liquid right now, and you walk through this same spot in 3 hours, you're still going to get it.
Yeah, no matter how much Lysol I spray when you leave.
So, yeah, I mean, I understand the 6 feet, but at the same time, I don't, because but hey, I'm not the expert, and this is what the experts recommended, and so I guess that's what we'll do.
So that's going to be our show, Andrew. We're gonna stop talking now. Does that sound great?
Nah, all right.
Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what your Easter plans are if you're doing anything crazy. I'd like to know. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
So,
what are your churches doing for Easter?
yeah.
Let us know.
All right. Check you guys later.
Take it easy.